Hi students, once again I'm here to connect you all through online classes. In the previous video I have explained you about salts, and this video I'm going to explain the next part of the lesson, that is pH indicator and its use in our daily life. Okay children, I hope you all are fine and getting the maximum benefit of the online classes. pH indicator or pH indicator. So what do you mean by indicator children, or what do you mean by indicators? So indicators, pH indicators. So what do you mean by indicators? First thing, what are indicators? Indicators are substances. What are indicators? They are the substances which give a precise or a particular, which gives a precise change in a chemical substance, usually by a change of color of a solution. Okay children, so first thing you should know, what are indicators? What are indicators? Indicators are substances. They are the substances which give a precise or particular change in a chemical substance. Usually how is the change? It is by the change of color of a solution. So these we call them as indicators. Now what are pH indicators children? pH indicators are substances. pH indicators are substances. What type of substances? They are weak acids. They are weak acids. So pH indicators are substances of weak acids that exist as natural dyes or natural colors, and indicate the concentration of H plus or hydronium ions in a solution. So you all understood children what are pH indicators. Indicators, you know, they are the substances which bring about change in a solution. But what are pH indicators? These are weak acids. These are weak acids and exist as natural dyes and indicate the concentration of H plus or hydronium ions in a solution. Now, how does a pH indicator work? How does a pH indicator works? How does it work? It works by detecting. It works by detecting the presence of. It works by detecting the presence of H plus or OH minus ions in a substance or a solution. Okay children, how does a pH indicator work? It works by detecting the presence of H plus or OH ions in a solution. Now what is the use of pH indicator? So they are used to indicate the presence of acidic, basic or neutral character of the substance when tested. Okay children, so what is the use of pH indicator? They are used to indicate the presence of acidic, basic or neutral character of a substance when tested. Now we shall learn what are universal indicators. So universal indicators. These are there for your exam children. Universal indicators are, these are the mixture of several indicators. What are these? These are the mixture of several indicators and used to judge the strongness of a given acid or base. So what are universal indicators? Universal indicators are a mixture of several indicators. They are mixture of several indicators and used to judge the strongness or strength of a given acid or a base. Now we shall learn the universal indicator or the pH scale, children. If you take a pH scale, we have numbers from 0 to 14 and middle you have 7, then you have 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Okay children, and then 14. So this is how the pH scale will be written, and the middle one, that is 7, is neutral we call. It shows the neutral nature of the substance. And below 7, that is 6 to 1, this is called acidic nature. 6 to 1 will give the acidic nature of a substance, and 8 to 14 will give the alkaline nature of a substance. Alkaline nature of a substance. You have to understand, children, this numbers, that is from 6 to 1, as the nature, acidic nature increases. The acidic nature increases as you go from 7 to 1. That is the number, the acidic nature increases, the acidic nature increases. This you have to remember, children. As the number decreases. So less the number, more the acidic nature. Less the number, more the acidic nature. Okay children. As the number decreases, the acidic nature increases. As the number decreases, the acidic nature increases. This you have to remember. As the number decreases, the acidic nature increases. As the number increases, this side also, the basic nature. As the number increases, the basic nature increases. As the number decreases, this you have to remember. As the number decreases, the basic nature increases. As the number increases, the basic nature increases. You all understood, children? Less the number, more the acidic nature. Then you have to more the number, more the alkaline nature or basic nature. Now we can see the universal indicator of pH scale, children. Here when you see the numbers from, always the pH scale or the universal indicator has numbers from 0 to 14. And I told you, when the number decreases, so from 7, if it comes to 6, 5, this is called acidic nature. This we call it as acidic nature. So when the number decreases, the acidic nature increases. When the number increases, the base alkaline nature increases. This is alkaline nature. So you have to remember, children. So 8, 9, these are all weak bases, we can say, weak bases. As you go on, the strength of the bases go on increasing. 13, 14 is strong alkalis or strong base. Okay. And when you come towards the acidic nature, 5, 6, these are weak acids. And as you decreases, the acidic nature goes on increasing. So here increases the acidic nature, increases the basic nature. Now I gave you the color. Red color gives strong acid. Yellow color gives mild strongness of the acids. And then you 5 and 6, which is 5, 6, 7, 8, these are all green in color, children. So this 5 and 6 gives the indication of weak acids, and neutral is always green in color. And 8 and 9 are weak alkalis. So 9, 10, 12, these are blue in color, which which shows neither too strong or too weak. They are in between. We can call them as mild alkaline solutions or mild bases. And then you have the last 13, 14 are strong alkalis which show purple color. Well understood, children? So as the number decreases, the acidic nature increases. As the number increases, the alkaline nature increases. As the number increases, the alkaline nature increases. What do you mean by pH, children? pH. pH means it is derived from a German word. It is derived from a German word which means potential hydrogenic. So what do you mean by pH? Potential hydrogenic. It is derived from a German word which means potential hydrogenic, meaning is strength of an acid. What is the meaning of pH? Strength of an acid. Yes, pH will indicate the strength of an acid, whether it is acidic, basic or neutral. Now we shall see some of the pH values of a substances, like for example gastric acid. So in gastric acid or gastric juice, what is the pH? It is 1. And when you take lemon juice, what is the pH? What is the pH of lemon juice? 2. Okay, and then when you take tomatoes, what is the pH of tomatoes? It is 3. When you take black coffee, so what is the pH of black coffee? 5. When you take urine, so what is the pH of urine? That is 6. And when you take distilled water, what is the pH of distilled water? 7. When you take sea water, what is the pH of sea water? 8. When you take baking soda, what is the pH of baking soda? 9. What is the pH of milk of magnesia? 10. What is the pH of ammonia? It is 11. What is the pH of soapy water? 12. Okay, children. So bleaching powder is 13. Okay, children. So now you have the pH of certain substances. So in an exam they'll ask you the pH of gastric acid is 1, the pH of baking soda is 9. So justify your statement or justify your answer. So if they give like this, what answer you are going to give? So gastric acid, the pH is 1. Thus pH 1 indicates it's a strong acid. It is a strong acid. I told you, children, in case of acids, the less the number, more the acidic nature. So 1 is very strong acid. And when you come to baking soda, we can call it as weak alkali or weak base, weak alkaline in nature or weak alkali. So this is how you can justify the pH of a substance. Now we shall learn what is the difference between pH paper and universal indicator. So most of you get confused, children, pH paper and universal indicator. So more or less both have the same difference, but what is the major difference we find between pH paper and universal indicator? pH paper gives exact measure of the substances. It gives the exact measure of the substances based on H plus and OH minus ions. It gives the exact measure of the substances based on H plus and OH minus ions. That is whether a substance is acidic, basic or neutral. So it tells whether a substance is acidic, basic or neutral. Then what about universal indicator? It gives the strength. It gives the strength of the substance. It tells whether a substance is strong acid or weak acid, strong base or a weak base. You all understood, children? So what is pH paper? It gives the exact measure of the substance. Based on what? Based on concentration of H plus ions and OH minus ions. So based on that, it will give us whether a substance is acidic, basic or neutral. That is called pH paper. What about universal indicator? It tells whether a substance is strong or weak. So that we call it as universal indicator. Now we shall see very important part of this concept, that is pH or importance of pH in a daily life. So how is pH useful in a day-to-day life, children? Importance of pH in a daily life. When I say importance of pH in a day-to-day life, the first thing is pH in a digestive system. pH in a digestive system or pH in a digestion. So how is this pH useful for a digestive system? So when I say pH in a digestive system, as you all know, children, a stomach has gastric glands. Stomach has gastric glands, and these gastric glands produces a juice called gastric juice. So you can take gastric juice. So this juice, gastric juice, contains HCl. You have to remember, stomach has gastric glands. Gastric glands produce gastric juice. Gastric juice secretes HCl, and this HCl is very important for digestion. HCl plays in breaking down of food and also helps in destroying the harmful germs that enter into the stomach through food and water. Then this HCl plays a very important role in digestion. If excess of HCl is secreted in a stomach, then it leads to what? Indigestion. HCl helps in digestion. If excess of HCl, secretion of excess of HCl leads to indigestion, and this indigestion leads to what, you know, children? Pain and irritation in the stomach. Pain and irritation in the stomach. Pain and irritation in the stomach. And to cure this, so because of the excess of HCl, indigestion, and because of indigestion, pain and irritation, then what is the precautionary measure to come out from this problem? That is, when pain and irritation takes place, is the sign of excess of HCl. That is called acidity. Excess of HCl is nothing but acidity. That means the person is suffering from acidity. To neutralize or come out from this, we have to take bases, children. So base, when reacts with this HCl, that is acid, it neutralizes. So what is neutralization? Adding acid to a base or base to an acid, we call neutralization. So acidic concentration is more in the stomach. For that we have to use a base. Now what is the base here? We are using two types of bases. One is MgOH, milk of magnesia, or magnesium hydroxide is one, and one more is baking soda, NaHCO3, baking soda. So these are the two bases which are used to neutralize the acidic concentration in the stomach and get relief from the pain. We call them as antacids. What we call it as antacids. So if the pH in the stomach increases, in the gastric juice the pH is 1, children. So it is highly concentrated with the acids. So this high concentration of acidic nature has to be reduced with the help of a base. And once when it reacts with the base, it gets neutralized and indigestion problem is solved. That is, pain and irritation is relieved. Next is pH change has the cause of tooth decay. pH change is the cause for tooth decay. Yes, children, most of us suffer from tooth decay. So what is the cause for this tooth decay? So when we eat, the basic reason behind this is when we eat food containing sugar, the bacteria that is in the mouth. So when we take the food containing sugar, okay, on this sugar Sugar is acted upon bacteria. So what type of bacteria are found in the mouth? So in the mouth, when you take the food containing sugar, so already there are bacteria in the mouth, that is lactobacillus, and we have one more, streptococci. So these are the bacteria which act upon the sugar and convert them into lactic acid. They convert them into acids, children. As you know that in the milk turns into curds. How there is conversion of this lactobacillus act upon lactose sugar present in the milk and converts into lactic acid. The same process in the mouth also, children. The lactobacillus which is found in the mouth acts upon the sugar which is there in the mouth, acts upon the sugar and converts into lactic acid. So actually, what is the pH in the mouth, children? The pH in a saliva. The pH in the saliva is 6.2 to 7.6. It is a moderate, not too acidic or not too basic. So this pH level in the saliva, because of the acid, will fall down. It will fall down to 5.5, children. It falls down to 5, which is highly acidic. You all understood? This acidic concentration will erode the strongest part of the tooth, which is that enamel, and leads to tooth decay. You all understood, children, what is the process involved in tooth decay? So in the mouth, the food containing sugar, okay, when we take the food containing sugar, that sugar is acted upon bacteria and converts into acid and makes the saliva. The saliva is 6.2 to 7.6, which is not too acidic or basic. That saliva pH, the pH is made to fall down to 5.5, which is highly acidic, and that acidic concentration erodes the strongest part of the tooth, that is called enamel, and causes tooth decay. So what is the preventive measure for this, children? The preventive measure is we have to drink plenty of water. Plenty of water breaks down the acidic concentration in the mouth and prevents tooth decay, or else we can use some mouth freshness liquids, children. We have some mouth freshness liquids which contains base in it. The basic component is base. So when we use them after every meal, the acidic concentration will neutralize and tooth decay problem will be reduced. And one of the common preventive measure is drinking plenty of water breaks down or reduces or dilutes the acidic concentration in the mouth. Now we shall see how self-defense by animals and plants through chemical warfare. So how animals and plants undergo self-defense mechanism to protect themselves. How animals and plants use the self-defense mechanism to protect themselves from enemies. The first one we can see honeybees, children. Honeybees. Most of us know honeybees are dangerous because they sting and cause pain and irritation. When they sting a person, what they inject? They inject an acidic liquid, children. When honeybees sting, they inject acidic liquids into the skin. Okay, what happens then? It causes pain, irritation, and also sometimes swelling also. Irritation and swelling takes place. So honeybees, when they sting, this is the defense mechanism we find in honeybees too. When they sting, they give out acidic liquids into the skin, and which is very painful, irritation and swelling. So how to get rid of this? What are the precautionary measures to get rid of this pain? The first thing is, because this is acidic in nature, we can use a base. So what are the bases? We can rub base like baking soda. Okay, if this baking soda is not soda, we can use toothpaste also, children. Toothpaste, which is made up of a basic compound that is base in it. A mild base is present. So this, if you rub on the sting area, it gives relief, or the acidic concentration will react with the base and get neutralized. So honeybees give out acidic liquids and cause pain. To get relief from that, we can use baking soda. We can rub baking soda on the stung area, or else you can apply toothpaste, which gives a soothing effect. Wasps, you all know, children, wasp stings. Wasp stings. What are wasps? They are the insects, children. When these sting, they give alkaline liquid. Alkaline liquids. They give out alkaline liquids. Some of the alkaline liquids are very corrosive, children, very painful. And when they sting, the alkaline liquid is injected into the skin and cause again pain and irritation. Pain and irritation. So to get relief from this, it is alkaline in nature. So we can use a acid. So what type of acid can be used? We can use vinegar. Vinegar, acetic acid, CH3COOH. This can be used to neutralize the alkaline nature, or else you can use dilute lemon juice also, because it is acidic in nature. So when you use for alkaline, if you use acid, then the neutralization takes place and you get relieved. Plants also undergo defense mechanism, children. Plants also undergo defense mechanism to protect themselves from the enemies. Undergo defense mechanism to protect themselves from enemies. So how plants, for example, how plants use their defense mechanism? For example, you can take nettle plant. So if you take a nettle plant, the nettle plant has stinging. Plants also undergo defense mechanism. So in order to protect themselves from enemies. For example, you have nettle plant. The nettle plant leaves have stinging hair-like or thorny projections. So when animals or any person comes in contact with this projections, they inject the acid into the skin. They inject the acid into the skin, which is very painful and has burning sensation, children, and has burning sensation. So these nettle leaves have stinging hair-like projections. So when any person comes in contact with these stinging hairs, it emit out some acids into the skin or inject some acid into the skin and cause burning sensation. So how to get rid of this is, it is a acid, so we can use base. So we can use the base. So base, we can use baking soda, or we can use toothpaste, which contains base in it, and get relieved from the pain. Okay, children, so we have come to the end of the lesson. So in the next video, I am going to explain you the important questions from this lesson, which are really useful for your exam. Thank you.